What's up, everyone? Tanya here with another episode of Pop Culture at Home, and today we are welcoming one of my all-time favorites, actor, producer, and host of the beloved game show Card Sharks on ABC, Mr. Joel McHale. Joel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Your house is very well Funko Popped, Elvis pillowed, and happy fall metal pumpkin. It's very impressive.
Thank you. I had to decorate. Well, I had a special guest, of course, in the house. So,
Yes.
let's talk. Before we talk about Card Sharks, I do want to talk about, how you've been coping during this really crazy time. It's been so challenging for a lot of us. How have you and your lovely family been doing?
Oh, well, I've been doing a lot of cocaine, cutting myself, and just long staring off into the distance, wondering who I am and where I am. Let's see, I got a 15 and 12-year-old, and they hate Zoom school, and it sucks, and Zoom school really does suck. We look forward to, going back when we can and all that stuff, but I can't imagine what it would be like to be their age and just be like not hanging out as much with their friends. And so that part sucks. We're lucky because we have a good sized house, so we can, get our space. Mm-hmm. But as you know, I'm not an essential worker, so I'm not on the front lines where people are doing actual good work. Mm-hmm. So, I'd say it's a very measured complaining.
Yeah. And it's been, something that you guys were the very first for Card Sharks to actually head back into the studio. So I'm wondering with the, it's so tight with the protocols and the safety measures. What was that like in July heading back onto the set and shooting with no audience?
Well, it was us and The Mandalorian were shooting. And as you know, they're very, very similar. Yeah. Well, I think we were one of the first shows, at least going, that had all the zones where people were not allowed in certain zones. And I never saw, some of the producers, I never even saw them for while we were shooting it because they were in their zone. And we did have turned out to be a false positive, I was really more inconclusive than false positive. But at that time, it was enough to scare people. And so that whole section was removed. And they dealt with that, and they brought in, the next squad to take over. And there was probably a 4-hour delay, but the protocol worked, and everyone was safe, and we tested every day, so it worked, and it makes me happy because, I want to work and get back to work, and I want the entertainment business to keep going because without it, I will be destitute. So I'm very now I'm signing on to do some shows and some movies and they all have all the protocols in place. So it makes me, it's great.
Yeah. And one of the best parts of the show, because it's so much fun, is the fan interaction. I feel like you can't have a game show without, the crowds cheering and, cheering at the contestants on. What was it like, filming without the audience this time around, especially since I know you feed off audiences so well with everything that you've been hosting and all the stuff that you do?
Yeah, I was just very despondent and low energy and just kind of like, all right, turn the card over. Oh, hey, you won. Goodbye. See ya. Who's next? No, we allowed each player to have 2 or 3 of their family members. Mm-hmm. They're in their bubble. And sometimes they made up for a whole audience. And it actually allowed me to talk directly to all of them. So, and I am a apex extrovert. I am a extreme extrovert, and so talking to people gives me energy. So it wasn't as weird as you'd think. Maybe on the first few minutes, I was like, "Oh, this is it's like we're we're on a desert island somewhere." But it turned out really well, and I love that interaction. So I want all that stuff to keep going, and we got some pretty crazy answers from people that if you want to hear them, I'll tell you one. But yeah, we gave away a ton of money to the point where ABC was calling and going, "What's going on?" And so that was pretty funny.
Well, you guys are probably giving more money than the government right now, so I think that's that's not too bad. You guys are doing good. So the contestants are also very fun to watch, but and you never know what you're going to expect with them. The thing is that I know that when the audience watches, like I'm biting my nails, I'm like grabbing my face, I'm shocked because like sometimes they go so far and it's like they just keep going. So do you ever get nervous for them? Or do you ever like just go into shock, or you're just okay with it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. It's strange because I have no emotions left in I don't have a heart. It's just a little like a set of ball bearings that spin around. But I begin to get excited when the money is getting big, and you'll see they haven't shown it yet, but there is some huge winners and there are some just crushing heartbreaks.
Oh.
And I think one guy was so close to big money, he had a king, and he said lower than a king, and it was an ace, and I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
So I just gave him $1 million. No, but it's strange how it's like, oh, it's that thing that it's like when I see other hosts getting into it, I'm like, well, that's, kind of, and then I'm like, I'm so into it. This is it. I'm going to keep going. It's such a simple game, but the stakes couldn't be higher.
Do you like playing cards or sort of?
No, I don't want to lose money. I play with friends when one could do that, but going to Vegas and playing, do you?
No, I don't. I feel like I don't know how to play a lot of card games. I feel like only Go Fish is like the only really dumb and easy one.
Yeah. I've hung with a couple of people that play Texas Hold'em kind of professionally, and it is a whole different game, and they are looking for people like us to sit down at that table so they can take our money.
Exactly. We're suckers. So, the game is so much fun and exciting. So what is it about this game that sets it apart from the earlier incarnations from like the 70s and the 2000s?
I think there's a lot more comedy, and it's a slower, like in the old ones, they are flying through the games, and they just like game after game after game after game. And the money we're giving away is much bigger. So kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you interact with them going like, what would $350,000 do for you? And you're like, maybe I can buy a house and a car and another house. And so the stakes are higher. So we see the sort of emotion that they're going through. It doesn't mean the game is really slowed down. It's just with the stakes being higher, you want to take your time a little bit because you don't want to just go, all right, you won $350,000. Thanks for coming. We'll see you later. It's like, so that, we draw out the tension a bit.
And there were 3 hosts, I believe, so before you. One has passed, sadly. Bob Eubanks and Pat Bullard. Have you ever heard from them when you started the show?
Someone told me that Bob Eubanks saw it and liked it. I think it was a producer, so that made me happy. But no, I mean those guys were. I mean that was a time when television was 3 channels or 4 channels, and that's the crazy thing with game shows. Everyone, I think there was always kind of like, it's a game show. It was like, yeah, everyone watches it. So that was a time when I think it was really cool. They brought all these 70s shows back. So with the Match Game and Press Your Luck and all that. And so I feel like it's a tradition that I get to carry on in a fun way. So but I have not spoken to those guys, and I probably should. I'll be right back. I'll go talk.
So, also with the game shows, like we were talking about Match Game, you're really good on game shows, even as like when you're sitting as a contestant. I've seen you on Match Game and I've seen you on To Tell the Truth. And so, I'm wondering, like, what is it about reviving old game shows that we love so much and we see more of lately?
Well, there's a reason why those games, why they bring them back, the certain ones, because they worked really well. And they're very sound games. And if it's a good game, you can play it forever. So To Tell the Truth is such a solid, the simplicity of the idea, just like somebody's telling the truth and everybody else is lying. You got to figure it out. It's such a it's like, when American Idol came out, it's a talent show. Those have been going on since, cave people could stand in front of people and say like, Og thinks he can do a better impression of a woolly mammoth than Oog, and so that I think just because these games, I think they brought him back. It's like, hey, why were these canceled? We should keep them on since they're good games.
Mm-hmm. And you're a producer of Card Sharks as well. So I'm wondering, is there any other game show you would like to revive or start producing on ABC?
Oh, that's a good question. They already brought back the Gong Show, which I liked very much. Maybe Sale of the Century. Mm-hmm. That's going way back. And then there was one that Letterman used to appear on in the 70s. Oh, man, I'm not going to remember the name of it. But Sale of the Century I would bring back.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. So, at this point in your career, do you like hosting or do you like acting? Or is there a fine balance you've found between the two?
Well, I like it all. Acting requires more. I mean, there's a lot of energy required for Card Sharks, but it's in a very condensed time because you can film multiple episodes a day. Mm-hmm. That's great. I mean, you're tired at the end of the day, but what are we talking about? And with movies and television and stuff, for the most part, it's traveling and you have a lot of So I enjoy them both a lot, and I hope no one stops me from doing it, and I hope the acting police don't arrest me and take me away.
Yeah, because you've been really good on Stargirl, and I'm very excited for season 2. I know you kind of teased, you coming in. Is there anything you can tell us, or are you guys going to start shooting soon?
What can I tell you? I will say that we will start shooting soon, and I am a part of it.
Yeah. Do you like being a superhero? Is it fun?
No, I hate it. I hate being a superhero.
I mean, it feels different for a lot of people, but how do you? Because this is your first time being a superhero on.
Yeah, TV. I think I got right in under the wire. So I love it, and it's like a dream come true. It's a kid fantasy. You get to be a superhero with superpowers and a super staff. And so I jumped at that opportunity. I was like, any day of the week, I'll be there. I'll just tell me when to show up. And I think I spend more time in fittings than I did on set. So, but it was so much fun. And Amy Smart and Luke Wilson and Breck Bassinger they're just great. So I'm honored to, I'm so glad I'm going to come back and it'll be good times.
Mm-hmm. And, before I let you go, even though I love talking to you, you're so much fun, I got to talk about Community because we heard from you guys in May about the reunion, on the virtual reunion, that the movie's going to be coming out eventually. Mm-hmm. And Yvette Nicole Brown, she actually told us at Pop Culture, I think last month, that it's happening eventually. It's just about timing and scheduling. So I'm wondering if we can't guess what Dan Harmon's going to be doing with the script or anything, but do you have any idea of where you would like Greendale and all the characters to be in the movie when it comes out?
Oh, man, I can't even. I mean, I don't know, an aircraft carrier in space? I don't know. It is that is something I could never guess, where Dan's brain would go, and I would never. They asked my character what he was doing, and I was like, he's probably with Elroy up doing hard drive and Wingman, and the fake television show that we did in season 6. And but I don't know. I can't even guess. And I mean, I know that there's interest. If Donald's into it, obviously that really helps. And if Dan's into it, then eventually when the script gets written, my guess is I don't know if the deal will be made before the script, or I really don't know, but I'll be there in a New York minute to do it.
Yeah, I know that everyone's going to be so excited. And plus, the show is now on Netflix, so it would be great if maybe you guys made the transition with the movie to Netflix. But
I would do that in a heartbeat. That would be so much fun. And it's so funny because people were like, "Hey, I discovered your show on Netflix," and I was like, "It's been streaming for 5 years already." But boy, Netflix, they really pushed it out, which was really great.
Mm-hmm. Well, Joel, it has been such a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Great to meet you virtually. Mm-hmm. And thanks for all the thoughtful questions. And let's do it again.
Yes. So Card Sharks Season 2 premieres Sunday at 10 Eastern on ABC. Check your local listings. For more on Joel.mchale, Card Sharks, and all of your favorite stars, keep it locked to popculture.com.
Keep it locked.